Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that every greenhouse gas on Earth, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and even the heat-trapping effects of water vapor, has vanished from the atmosphere in an instant, like someone flipped a cosmic switch. 10 seconds into this new world, the sky looks normal, the sunlight feels the same, but something is terribly wrong. The invisible thermal blanket that has protected Earth for billions of years is simply gone. So today, we're diving into a chilling question. What would actually happen if all greenhouse gases disappeared overnight? First, let's understand the setup. Greenhouse gases trap heat that Earth naturally emits, keeping the planet warm enough for liquid water, life, and the ecosystems we rely on. Without them, Earth would no longer hold onto its heat. It would start leaking energy into space like a cracked furnace. But this wouldn't all happen instantly. Earth is huge, and different parts of the climate system cool at drastically different speeds. The atmosphere would respond first. It's thin, light, and sensitive to energy changes, so temperatures in the air would begin falling within hours. Greenhouse gases may make up a tiny fraction of our air, but their effect is massive, like removing one screw that causes an entire machine to collapse. The moment these gases disappear, Earth's energy budget flips. More heat escapes than comes in, and cooling begins everywhere. Nights would become brutally cold almost immediately, because nothing would trap the heat that normally radiates off cities, forests, oceans, and deserts after sunset. At first, plants and animals would just experience unusually chilly nights, but this wouldn't last long. Within the first few days, the surface of the planet would cool noticeably. The ground would lose heat quickly, and frost would begin forming in regions that normally never see it. Meanwhile, the oceans, our planet's giant heat reservoirs, would start releasing their stored warmth into the atmosphere. This enormous release slows the overall cooling, but it can't stop it. The ocean is a battery running out of charge. Over the next few months, global temperatures would drop sharply, far sharper than anything humans or ecosystems have experienced in recorded history. Jet streams would shift unpredictably. Storms would weaken, change shape, or move to entirely new regions. Rains would fail in some areas and slam others with sudden bursts. Some regions would rapidly dry out. Others, especially near coastlines, could get intense and erratic precipitation as the atmosphere struggles to adjust to its new energy balance. Agriculture would immediately feel the impact. Crops that depend on stable seasonal temperatures would face sudden frosts, disrupted rainfall, and shorter growing windows. A single year of unstable temperatures could wipe out harvests across entire continents, pushing global food supplies into crisis. Now let's zoom in on the oceans again, because they trigger the next twist in our scenario. For centuries, oceans have absorbed massive amounts of carbon dioxide from the air. When greenhouse gases vanish, the balance between ocean water and the atmosphere is completely shattered. As the oceans cool, their ability to hold dissolved gases changes, causing them to start releasing some CO back into the atmosphere. This means that, even though greenhouse gases disappeared initially, the planet slowly begins leaking some back from natural reservoirs. But this rebound is tiny compared to what was lost, and nowhere near enough to stop the ongoing cooling. Ecosystems worldwide start to unravel. Animals that depend on temperature cues, migrations, breeding seasons, hibernation, suddenly lose the signals they evolved to follow. Plants struggle with late freezes, early frosts, and reduced growing periods. Entire ecosystems start collapsing like dominoes. Ice begins to expand. Glaciers start reclaiming territory. Sea ice forms earlier in the year and melts later, reshaping ocean currents and weather patterns. Infrastructure designed for today's climate begins to fail. Pipes burst, roads crack, power grids strain, heating demands skyrocket, especially in regions unprepared for extreme cold. And here's the shocking midpoint twist. Humans are adapted to a narrow temperature window. Lose that window suddenly, and society collapses long before the planet fully freezes. Over decades, cooling continues. The oceans steadily lose their heat content and slowly freeze at the surface. New snow and expanding ice reflect more sunlight back into space, accelerating the cooling even faster, a feedback loop pushing Earth toward a deep freeze state. Humanity would scramble to adapt. Some people might migrate toward the equator, where temperatures are less severe, while others attempt to build artificial environments or heated biodomes. Food production becomes the greatest threat. With failing crops, unpredictable seasons, and shrinking arable land, global shortages become inevitable. Meanwhile, wildlife faces mass extinction. Many species cannot evolve quickly enough to survive the sudden shift, leaving ecosystems empty and broken. After many decades, Earth stabilizes into a cold, harsh climate more similar to Mars than the warm, blue world we know. But here's the twist. This dramatic, catastrophic scenario could never naturally happen. Greenhouse gases are tied into massive global cycles. Oceans, soil, volcanoes, plants, animals, and even rocks constantly release and absorb them. You can't simply delete them in real life. The thought experiment shows something deeper. The greenhouse effect isn't our enemy. It's our survival mechanism. The real danger isn't having greenhouse gases. It's having too many, too fast for our planet to balance. And that's what drives climate change. So the lesson here is simple and emotional. We depend on a delicate balance. Break it suddenly, and Earth becomes unrecognizable. Protect it wisely, and life continues to thrive. And if this mind-bending scenario made you think, hit like, subscribe, and stick around for more incredible what-if stories about our universe.